Is a Kariz. A Kariz, also known as Qanats, is a man-made underground structure built for conveying groundwater from inside a mountain or a hill, where aquifers are, like this, and convey them to the ground, where human settlements exist. Now, why did I choose this research subject? To introduce Kariz technology as an efficient ancient groundwater extraction and conveyance method, and to suggest combining it with modern techniques and technologies and using it to help water crisis management in arid areas. So, what is going to be presented for you about Karizes are some facts, history, construction methods, applications, management aspects, and finally we will see whether they're applicable in the modern era or not. But the hypothesis of this research is this. So, what are the benefits of Karizes? They are reliable and renewable sources of water. They cause no damage to the environment. They use only the force of gravity to transfer groundwater because of the height difference. They have low life cycle operation and maintenance costs, and they convey water with less evaporation, even in dry areas. Now, what are their usages? First of all, they're used to supply clean water for drinking and irrigation, which is an important aspect of Iranian life, important enough to be pictured in the drawings, carpets, etc. They are used in natural cooling systems. They're used for facilitating ice storages, and also they're used for running watermills, which I will explain all of these later. So, let's continue with a fact. According to the Iranian Ministry of Energy, we have around 36,300 Karizes in Iran. Each Kariz consists of a horizontal tunnel and some wells, where the average length of the tunnel is about 6 kilometers, and the average sum of wells depth is about 4 kilometers, which gives us about 376,000 kilometers of Kariz tunnels and wells only in Iran, which is about 97.9% of the distance between the moon and the earth. History. In the early part of the first millennium BC, Persians started constructing Karizes for extracting groundwater, and during the period 550 to 331 BC, when the Persian kingdom extended from the Indus to the Nile, Kariz technology spread throughout the empire. It also spread via the Silk Route and because of the Arab expansions. So, now let's have a look at the structure of a Kariz. The first part is aquifer, which is an underground layer of rock, sand, etc., which contains water. The next part is the gallery, which is an almost horizontal tunnel dug to get access to groundwater reserves and to transfer them to the ground. After that, exit point, which is where the gallery and the ground intersect. After that, shaft wells, which are dug from the surface to the gallery, mainly for pulling out the excavated materials, sending down and pulling out into needed tools, workers, etc., and also ventilating the gallery. And the last well, which you see here, which is usually the first and the deepest well, is called the mother well. And finally, we have the farm, which is the cultivated area, which is less elevated than the exit point. And this is the top view of a Kariz shaft well. This is the gallery, this is the exit point, and this is the line of dots formed by the debris around Kariz shaft wells, the excavated materials. So, Karizes are constructed by workers called Moghadam, who are skilled in surveying, geology, hydrology, and engineering. Interesting to note, due to the underground construction risks, Moghadam say a prayer before entering a Kariz for construction, and also they will not go to work on days which they consider unlucky. Now, let's see how a Kariz is built. The first step is finding the aquifer, which for that they would start digging exploration wells in a place where they believe an aquifer exists beneath. When one of these exploration wells reaches the aquifer, then they would try to determine the exit point. To do that, they would come down from the top of the well until they reach a point which is at the same level as the bottom of the well. But how would they do that 3,000 years ago? Using some simple and ancient levels, which Karizes, a great but almost unknown Iranian mathematician and engineer, has explained in his book, Extraction of Hidden Waters. As he says, these levels are based on basic laws of physics. Let's have a look at 3 of them. The first one is a water level, made of a bucket full of water with 2 hoses attached to it. And these 2 hoses are fixed to 2 rods of the same length in 2 different places. And because of the communicating vessels principle, the water level in these hoses are equal. Using that, the height difference between this point and this point can be found out. Another one is a horizontal cylinder, which a leveling rod on the other side can be observed through. And the number which we see on the rod indicates the height difference between this point and this point. Finally, we have something like a protractor, which a loose arrow is connected to. It's loose, so it always points down. And it's connected with ropes to 2 rods of the same length, and the angle which appears here is the same as this angle between the rope and the horizon, and multiplying the sine of it and the hypotenuse of this right triangle gives us this, which is the height difference between this point and this point. Now, they would tie a weight to a rope and send it down in the well until it reached the bottom. Then they would take it out and calculate the length of the rope, which would give us the depth of the exploration well. Then, using the levels I said, they would come down from the top of the well, as I said, step by step, and calculate their height difference with the top of the well until they reach this point, which is in the same level as the bottom of the well. Then they would come even a bit lower, because the gallery, which is going to be from here to here, should have a gentle slope so that it only works with gravity. And this would be the exit point. The first and the final step is constructing the Kariz. And they would start constructing the gallery from this side towards the aquifer, and around each 20 to 35 meters, they dig a shaft well. And then the Kariz is ready to be used. So, applications. The primary applications of Kariz water are supplying drinking water, providing animals with water, and irrigation. Passive cooling systems. Karizes, when used in conjunction with a wind catcher, can provide cool air, as well as being the water supply source. Some people would build their houses on top of Kariz shaft walls, and would also build a structure called a wind catcher on the top, which is something like a chimney, but with openings around the top. And because of the Bernoulli effect, it refreshes the air inside of the house. Then, the fresh air which comes inside passes from the top of the shaft wall, which again, because of the Bernoulli effect, draws out the cool air inside the Kariz, and this cools the air inside the house.